Alright, we good. We recording on both places now. Top of the day, beautiful people. Happy, we'll be at Tuesday. Forgive me for my tardiness this morning. Okay, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get started without further ado. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 29th, 2021, day 193 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 862. Today, y'all, we read in Isaiah 25, 26, and 27. Then we're going to pick up where we left off at yesterday on Fossilized Customs on page 195. Okay. I had this craziest dream. I don't remember half of it, but I just remember it was crazy. A goddamn cat was following me. And not your normal cat. It was weird. Guys, I don't even know what to do, but I'm not even sure that it was anything spiritual. I'm like, what did I eat before I went to sleep? It was this bobcat that stood up and started walking like a human. And started walking beside me. At first, I looked at the cat because it was on this big chain, like locked in the fence, like you would lock up a dog. But then I realized this joker was a cat, like big like a lion. Tiffany, peace and blessings. But not quite a lion. It could almost pass for a lion. It could almost pass for a female lion if it almost had like cheetah spots, right? It almost looked like a cheetah, but it's weird. I don't know. It came up beside me. I'm just saying, oh, this thing is going to eat me alive. And I was walking somewhere, and I thought there was an outlet down at the end of the place I was going, but there wasn't. And I realized it before I got there. And as I was turning around, actually, as I was walking, I actually realized there wasn't an outlet right when I got into the fence. But the cat was right there, and it came up on me. You know, like if you walk in the fence, or a dog will start barking or something, and it'll come up on you. And I seen it, and so you know how you see somebody just like keep walking. Like I know ain't no outlet down here. It's crazy to even keep walking this direction. Like if this thing will start chasing me, because I ain't gonna be able to get out, right? And like there's really no purpose for me sharing a dream. Otherwise, it was just completely crazy what happened. And so. What? Is it real soft? Yeah, I mean, open it up and see. If it's brown, I would throw it away. Yeah. So, but as literally as soon as I walked in, I realized there was no outlet there. But as I turned around to go back, here come this big cat, and it was on the chain. Like somebody put this huge cat on the chain, and it looked nice as it want to be, but it just scared me because I'd never seen a cat that big up that close. And it came up to me, you know, like a friendly dog would just kind of walk up to you and rub it. So we're actually more like a cat will walk up to you and rub itself up against your legs and stuff. This is what this cat began to do, and I'm walking like, oh, you know. And I'm like, what did I do to attract this cat? I was like, I definitely walked into the wrong neighborhood, so I kept walking until I realized that the yard still had some more space to go, but the chain ran out on the cat, and I realized like, oh shoot, you know. But it's weird because I can actually feel it. It didn't feel like rubbing a dog or a cat, although I rarely ever rubbed a cat. I want to say it more so. It's weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It was more like a soft cotton, but a tougher, coarser type of cotton. Almost like if you would rub somebody's head with naps, right? That's kind of what it felt like, and it was weird. But as the chain ran out on the cat, and I realized the chain ran out on the cat, I stopped. I was like, I can't get out this yard, but I'm gonna have to go back past this cat. And I turned around and I looked at the cat, and the cat looked at me, and the cat opened its mouth. That's what I said. I was like, this dream probably has no spiritual significance to it at all. The cat looked at me and opened his mouth and said, "Can I go with you?" And I'm like, and I realized when I heard the voice that it was a female cat. I said, "Sis, you want to go with me?" She said, "Yes, please let me off this chain." I said, I don't, and I looked around and I seen this master coming, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure if I can take you with me right now, but I'll see. So I started rubbing on the cat and come back. She was like, oh, please take me with you. Like this is like the only time I've ever had a dream where an animal is talking to me. Like I said, yeah, this is a dream leash. Like I said, it probably has nothing to do with anything. I don't know, but I'm still thinking about it. But it was some other weird stuff. Apparently, this cat wanted to protect me because there was some coming danger. But it was as it was up on me, it was smelling me too. Now I've had dreams where it was another huge cat that followed me, and then there was a whole bunch of cats. I was like, sure, they're about to attack me, you know. But I had to. There was an entrance I had to. At least I think I may have told you about this dream. This was at least a year ago. I was walking through. I had to get through this entrance, and it was like nobody's getting through this entrance if these cats don't grant an entrance, right? And as I came through, and it's like one of the biggest cat. I don't know, the daddy cat, the mama cat, you could tell it was the cat in charge, right? Like real cats in this particular dream. As I walk close, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to just walk slow as I can. And hopefully they don't scratch me to death before I can get out to the other side. But as I got close, the biggest cat, like the leader cat, Shalom, Auntie, it came up to me and it looked mean. I was just like, yeah. Ain't nobody got through this entrance clearly. I may not be able to get through here, but he got up to me and it stopped and it looked at me with his face like to intimidate me. And I just stood there and I looked at it and it did like this. It like took its nose out and it began to smell me up and down. And then it was like my smell, the scent from me became intoxicating where I was able to go through. And when the huge cat was intoxicated, it by default intoxicated all of the other little cats, and I was able to walk through without them harming me at all. Like I said, guys, I don't know what in the world's going on with these big cat dreams. I really don't. It's like the second one I had with a big cat, but I was scared, but I wasn't scared. It just startled me. Like, how did I walk over here and not see this friggin' huge cat? But the cat wanted to go with me. It was like, peace and blessings, Kenneth. But the cat, as I was turning around to walk back out, this is the one I had last night. It was like, please take me with you. I was like, oh, sis, I don't know if you can go with me right now. And I'm thinking in my mind, why does cat want to go with me? And surely the owner's not going to let this big cat walk out of here with me. You know, so and it was tied to this big, it was like a huge oak tree this cat was tied to. Like, it's amazing that you could get a chain around this tree as big as it was, right? You know, so I really had to like look into. I looked into like cats before and what they mean. I looked into it before, but I kind of forget now. But if I remember, I remember in ancient Egypt, and especially if you look at some of the hieroglyphs, they actually had cats in a lot of the hieroglyphs, and from what I understand from Egypt, cats were a sign of something good. Some of them actually worship cats, right? But even when they died, some of them, they would have their cats buried with them. Like, they really revered cats. I don't know. I got to look more into it. But I can see this cat. I don't even know if it's really a cat that looked like this, but it was like some old ancient cat. And I ain't going to say it scared the crap out of me, but it completely startled me. But the cat wanted to go with me like, oh, please take me with you. But yeah, but I actually got out of, as a matter of fact, when I got to the end of the yard, the entrance that I came in, like I said, as soon as I walked in, I realized this was not the way that I wanted to go, and there wasn't an outlet at the end of the yard that I could see. And as I went to turn around to go back out, that's when the cat met me, and I'm like, oh shoot! And I just started walking through the yard anyway. And by the time we got to the end of the cat's chain, it said to me, please take me with you. You know, but when as I got back to the entrance to go back out, because I knew this wasn't where I was going, the owner came back and the cat was like, please let me go with you. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take you with me right now. So when the owner came, he just kind of looked at me and he said, if you want to take this cat, you got to take the other cat that come along with it. And I looked over and the cat was just looking at me like, please take me too. And I'm like, what is going on in this yard where these cats want to come with me? I don't even like cats. It's crazy, like I said, but they weren't cats. Even the second one, maybe it was its sister or brother or something, but it was over cage, like in a separate cage by itself, like it was in timeout because it had did something. But he said, if you take this cat, you got to take that cat too. And I'm just like, but I looked over, I'm like, it looked fierce enough, but it was looking at me like, I won't hurt you. Take me with you too. I need to get out of here, sis. And so I'm just like, and I don't know what I did. I just kind of stood there contemplating because I'm not sure why they put these cats on chains, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to take them cats with me if y'all had to chain them up. But apparently they wanted to get out of there, and they weren't attacking me. It's weird. It's weird. Like I said, there was really no reason for sharing the dream with you, no kind of spiritual significance that I can see from it at the moment. But it's just, I was up thinking, I was like, what kind of cat? I'm still trying to figure out what kind of cat it was. It really, to me, it looked like a cross between like a lion, a bobcat kinda, and I don't know, like really the body size, the height and the weight and the size of it was like a female lion. And at first glance, it would look like a female lion, but it wasn't. Although a lion is a cat, it wasn't that type of cat. And it almost looked like a bobcat, and it almost kind of had that hair like a bobcat, like a coarse, like that type hair. So it's weird. I don't know. I just want to talk about it because I'm still trying to process it through. Y'all probably won't think I'm crazy. Okay, y'all. So, but yeah, that like I don't really, I don't have anything else to give. I really just wanted to talk it through outside my thought process, kind of get out. But there was some other crazy stuff that I had run into in the dream. So, like I said, I ain't eating nothing crazy. I actually had some fruit before I went to sleep and some vegetables. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's kind of fun, but I don't know. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this opening. Do the Shema. Go ahead and get started with this reading here because we are already late, y'all. All right. So the Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 3. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the Elohim of our fathers, has promised us, in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. And you shall love Yahuwah, your Elohim, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah, our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and hop right on over here to Isaiah 25. Right inside here. All right, y'all. Isaiah chapter 25. Oh, this is working? Hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. That's working. It might be working today. Wait. No? Yes? Huh. It's working today. Huh. Okay. Oh, we're going to do that. All right, y'all. Josiah, shalom. Christy, hey. All right, y'all. Isaiah chapter 25. O Yahuwah, I will honor and praise your name, for you are my God. You do such wonderful things. You planned them long ago, and now you have accomplished them. You turn mighty cities into heaps of ruins. Cities with strong walls are turned to rubble. Beautiful palaces in distant lands disappear and will never be rebuilt. Therefore, strong nations will declare your glory. Ruthless nations will fear you. But you are a tower of refuge to the poor, O Yahuwah, a tower of refuge to the needy in distress. You are a refuge from the storm and a shelter from the heat. For the oppressive acts of ruthless people are like a storm beating against a wall, or like the relentless heat of the desert. But you silence the roar of foreign nations as the shade of a cloud cools relentless heat. So the boastful songs of ruthless people are stilled. In Jerusalem, Yahuwah, the Lord of heaven's armies, will spread a wonderful feast for all the people of the world. It will be a delicious banquet with clear, well-aged wine and choice meat. There he will remove the cloud of gloom, the shadow of death that hangs. There he will remove the cloud of gloom, the shadow of death that hangs over the earth. He will swallow up death forever. The sovereign Lord will wipe away all tears. He will remove forever all insults and mockery against his land and people. Yahuwah has spoken. And that day, the people will proclaim, "This is our God. We trust in him, and he saved us. This is Yahuwah in whom we trusted. Let us rejoice in the salvation he brings. For Yahuwah's hand of blessing will rest on Jerusalem, but Moab will be crushed. It will be like straw trampled down and left to rot. Yahuwah will push down Moab's people, and Yahuwah will push down Moab's people as a swimmer pushes down water with his hands. He will end their pride and all their evil works. The high walls of Moab will be demolished. They will be brought down to the ground, down into the dust." All right, y'all. Next chapter. Isaiah chapter 26. A song of praise to Yahuwah. And that day, everyone in the land of Judah will sing this song. What day is it talking about? It's talking about the previous chapter of what it was just saying, you know. In that day, everyone in the land of Judah will sing this song. Our city is strong. Sis, you kind of loud. Our city is strong. We are surrounded by the walls of Yahuwah's salvation. Open the gates to all who are righteous. Allow the faithful to enter. You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you. Trust in Yahuwah always, for Yahuwah is the eternal rock. He humbles the proud and brings down the arrogant city. He brings it down to the dust. The poor and oppressed trample it underfoot, and the needy walk all over it. But for those who are righteous, the way is not steep and rough. You are a God who does what is right, and you smooth out the path ahead of them. Yahuwah, we show our trust in you by obeying your laws. Our heart's desire is to glorify your name. In the night, I search for you. In the morning, I earnestly seek you. For only when you come to judge the earth will people learn what is right. Your kindness to the wicked does not make them do good. Although others do right, the wicked keep doing wrong and take no notice of Yahuwah's majesty. O Yahuwah, they pay no attention to your upraised fist. Show them your eagerness to defend your people, then they will be ashamed. Let your fire consume your enemies. O Yahuwah, you will grant us peace. All we have accomplished is really from you. O Yahuwah, our God, others have ruled us, but you alone are the one we worship. Those we served before are dead and gone. Their departed spirits will never return. You attacked them and destroyed them, and they are long forgotten. O Yahuwah, you made our nation great. Yes, you have made us great. You have extended our borders, and we give you the glory. Yahuwah, in distress, we search for you. We prayed beneath the burden of your discipline. Just as a pregnant woman breathes and cries out in pain as she gives birth, so were we in your presence, O Yahuwah. We too writhe in agony, but nothing comes of our suffering. You have not given salvation to the earth. nor brought life into the world. But those who die in Yahuwah will live. Their bodies will rise again. Those who sleep in the earth will rise up and sing for joy. For your life-giving light will fall like dew on your people in the place of the dead people. Go home, my people, and lock your doors. Hide yourselves for a little while until Yahuwah's anger has passed. Look, Yahuwah is coming from heaven to punish the people of the earth for their sins. The earth will no longer hide those who have been killed. They will be brought out for all to see. Isaiah chapter 27 will be our last chapter for today. Okay. In that day, Yahuwah will take his terrible swift sword and punish Leviathan, the swiftly moving serpent, the coiling, writhing serpent. He will kill the dragon of the sea. And that day, sing about the fruitful vineyard. I, Yahuwah. Okay, let me read it over. In that day, Yahuwah will take his terrible swift sword and punish Leviathan, the swiftly moving serpent, the coiling, writhing serpent. He will kill the dragon of the sea. In that day, sing about the fruitful vineyard. I, Yahuwah, will watch over it, watering it carefully. Day and night I will watch so no one can harm it. My anger will be gone. If I find briars and thorns growing, I will attack them. I will burn them up unless they turn to me for help. Let them make peace with me. Yes, let them make peace with me. The time is coming when Jacob's descendants will take root. Israel will bud and blossom and fill the whole earth with fruit. As Yahuwah struck Israel, as he struck her enemies, has he punished her as he punished them? No, but he exiled Israel to call her to account. She was exiled from her land as though blown away in a storm from the east. Yahuwah did this to purge Israel's wickedness, to take away all her sin. As a result, all the pagan altars will be crushed to dust. No Asherah pole or pagan shrine will be left standing. The fortified towns will be silent and empty, the houses abandoned, the streets overgrown with weeds. Calves will graze there, chewing on twigs and branches. The people are like the dead branches of a tree, broken off and used for kindling beneath the cooking pots. Israel is a foolish and stupid nation, for its people have turned away from Yahuwah. Therefore, the one who made them will show them no pity or mercy. Yet the time will come when Yahuwah will gather them together like hand-picked grain. One by one, he will gather them from the Euphrates River in the east to the brook of Egypt in the west. And that day, the great trumpet will sound. Many who were dying in exile in Assyria and Egypt will return to Jerusalem to worship Yahuwah on his holy mountain. All right, beautiful people. So that is our reading from there today. Let's go ahead and hop on over here to Fossilized Customs. I had to catch myself. When I pause like that, I be ready to say Legends of the Jews. We did Legends of the Jews for so long. It seemed like so long that I still want to say it. Okay, y'all. Look, can y'all turn this around? This is going to knock this thing out. Bella, let me just do this. Right. Okay, y'all. So we stopped on page 195 on the part where it is talking about Constantine changed the times in Torah. Okay. The Edict of Constantine decreed that the venerable day of the sun was to be the empire's day of complete rest in 321 CE, fulfilling Daniel 7:25. This universal Catholic edict was imposed under penalty of death, and the Sabbath, and in parentheses it has the seventh day commemorating creation, Genesis 2:2, Exodus 28 through 11, Exodus 31, 13 through 17, Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 12, Ezekiel chapter 44, verses 24, Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23, and Hebrews chapter 4, verses 1 through 12. And its observance were abandoned for the ways of Baalim, Nimrod, Satan, etc. The one who covenanted with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and spoke with Moshe in the burning shrub, was the same one. Okay. I'm coming, dog. Could have just left this whole sentence out, right? Hold on.
Jeremiah watches, she might need to be changed. I'm about to come in here though.
I'm trying to see where he going with the use of this. It wasn't. He got a couple errors in here. They weren't covered in sheepskins. I'm sorry, I just need to look over this before I read this. I need to take out this whole little section. I'll read it. Listen to what it says, right? Okay. I'm going to read it for the sake of his example on what he's saying. Listen to the example. The one who covenanted with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and spoke with Moshe in the burning shrub was the same one who became the son, Yahuwah, which we'll keep going. Listen to this. I crossed that out, so I still left it crossed out. The Father is greater because he is infinite in size, time, and power. Looking at the majesty of Yahusha is but a small glimpse. And for this reason, Yahusha said, Abba is greater than I. I saw her, Bella. Thank you. Yes. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. Okay, listen to what he said right here, right? He said, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Yahusha is Yahuwah to the esteem of Elohim the Father. Yeah, see? I'm going to keep reading. This right here, everyone will confess that Yahuwah is Lord, right? I know it says JC, but but if you're looking at the way he's explaining it, he's still okay. So he's saying, which is it's an oxymoron, really. That's why let me read through this. So he's saying Yahuwah is Yahusha, but he's talking about them like they're one, but they're still separate people, right? And it'll still get you all kind of twisted up in your thinking, right? So
he's trying to pull one of them divine masculine, divine feminine, took it away from each other, split off to the world type of thing.
Possibly. Didymus Thomas fell down to confess, my Adonai and my Elohim to Yahusha. The captain of the armies of Israel allowed the man Yahusha, called Joshua, to kneel before them. And I will pour out on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of unmerited loving kindness and supplication, so that they will look on me whom they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one who mourns for an only son, and will weep bitterly over him like the bitter weeping over a firstborn. Zechariah 12 and 10. Okay, so he's going through here giving a couple examples, and he's still using a human sacrifice as the Passover lamb. Listen to what he's saying. This will reflect back to the execution of Yahusha, the Passover lamb's purpose, and the covering of Adam and Kuah, or Kuah is Eve, right? And the covering of Adam and Kuah in the body, in the bloody sheepskins put on them. They didn't have sheepskins put on them. It was this corruptible flesh that they were locked into. If you want to call that an animal flesh, then it's that. But Yahuwah didn't slaughter an animal that was here on the earth to cover them. It was these bodies who, remember we talked about it before, it was separated from the spiritual realm, whereas before they were Adam and Eve, or Adam and Kawah, were able to freely move between both realms. But once they ate of the fruit of the forbidden tree, now they were locked into this 3D dimensional realm here on the earth and separated from the spiritual realm. Although the spiritual realm is still there and their physical eyes are now close to it, they can be moved back to Eden, so to speak. But there's a process now that you have to go through to work yourself out of this jail.
And boy, it's not an easy one.
Oh boy, it's not an easy one. Oh my gosh, y'all.
What, doesn't it involve a wife and a husband?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so people are gonna have an extra hard time.
Listen,
you need to straighten up. You hear that? Straighten up.
Listen, hold on, listen. This might go over your head. They got kicked out together. They gonna have to enter back in together. Let that sink down in your shana for just a little bit.
So both of y'all.
Whoa. Jeremiah knows a little bit more. I've been talking to him about some of this stuff. I'm just saying. That since they brought up Adam and Kawah, or Adam and Eve, they got kicked out together. Y'all gonna have to learn how to enter back into Eden together. I know it may not make sense right now, but we're gonna get to it. And I think the next go around reading this, we're gonna read it through next time. We may not even have a companion reading as we go through it next time, and we just really gonna kind of uncover everything, right? And that may take us a couple cycles to uncover everything, because I'm still learning. It's like, oh, y'all be wanting to share some of this stuff with y'all now, but it's like, not yet. Some people are ready. Like, I share offline. We'll talk about it. But it's amazing. It's really amazing what we really have in front of us, and what has been hidden from us when we haven't been taught appropriately. But it's there in plain sight, and we literally experience it just about every day, right? But you can't see it when your eyes have been covered over with a veil, right? So even if you tell people stories trying to get the principle to them, they will not be able to understand it. They will not be able to pick it up. Jackson! My granddad crying, y'all. Okay. Those who looked on Joseph saw the authority of the Pharaoh, but yet it wasn't Pharaoh. Many of these things will become clearer through study, as this is why it's good that we are being forced. Many of these things will become clearer through study, and this is why it is good that we are being forced to go to the words of Yahuwah. We must try hard not to go in with the intention of finding the passages that agree with our traditional mindset, but rather let the truth come through to replace the errors we have been taught. And if he hasn't said anything more truer than that in this book up until this point, I would say that sentence right there is the highlight of this entire book, right? Let me see. Hold on. I might. This is, it's a little too long to be our title for the day, but that's the highlight. I'll read it again. We must try hard not to go in with the intention of finding the passages that agree with our traditional mindset, but rather let the truth come through to replace the errors we have been taught. Right? Okay. There are not many who know Yahusha is Yahuwah, but the overcomers are finding out. At the eastern gate, when Yahuwah returns, scripture states, and behold, the esteem of the Elohim of Israel was coming from the way of the east, and his voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his esteem. Ezekiel chapter 43, verses 2. Before John turned to see the voice speaking, he heard, behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn over him. Even so, amen. I am the Aleph and the title says Adonai Yahuwah, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty. Revelations chapter 1, verses 7 through 8. Amen. And it actually doesn't have the E in here. It actually has A-M-N, right? And it has shush. Amen means truly or absolutely, right? When John turned to see Yahusha speaking amid a menorah or 7 lampstands, his sign, the menorah represented the Torah, the tree of life, the oil of which gives light to the world. By metaphor, the commandments. He is the living word, the Torah made flesh. The Hebrew word for the personal name of Yahuwah literally means I was, I am, I will be there, as translated by some. Look closely at the phrase in Revelation chapter 1, 8 above, who is and who was and who is to come. Yahuwah is describing the meaning of his own name, those sealed with the name of the Father. See Revelation chapter 7 and verse 14 and 1. Those who seal with the name of the Father will know his name. These living saints will number 144,000, and no lie will be found in their mouths. You will not see me again until you say, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. That's what that means. Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Note that Yahuwah was not saying that we will not see him again until we say God or Theos or Lord. Alexander Hislop's work, The Two Babylons, mentioned that Nimrod was widely known by many different names and titles. He traces all fire worship back to him and the custom of purifying oneself by offering one's children in fire. One of Nimrod's titles was Adon, meaning Lord. This is simply the root of the Hebrew word Adonai, which means my Lord. This eventually became Aden and Odin or Woden in Norse mythology. So we can see that this is but one example of dozens that can show that Nimrod is very still much with us. He's hidden in the name for the 4th day of the week, Woden's Day or Wednesday, right? People who rationalize that the true creator knows our hearts so we can continue in our Nimrod customs are playing not only with their own welfare, but any others who may find comfort in large numbers. Remember, Yahuwah told us that not many would be taken by surprise, and his return would be just like the days of Noah. The majority were swept away, and only 8 souls were preserved, selected by Yahuwah. A winnowing fork is separating us. Here in the U.S., as well as the U.K., witchcraft and the occult have become the counterculture of the young. The pagan movements are seeking equal use of public facilities, especially those used by popular Christian sects. All-seeing eye and eye in the sky. The symbol used on the U.S. dollar bill is over 4,000 years old. The eye is seen in the meditation room at the United Nations. The new meanings we read into these symbols represent revisionism. Those initiated in the occult understand the secret interpretation of the pyramid and eye point back to Nimrod of Babylon. Hey, shush, y'all. The glowing eye is indeed a symbol of deity, but a gross pagan one. The all-seeing eye is the same as the Egyptian symbol of Horus, which was called the eye in the sky, referring to the sun. Nimrod again. Guys, Jackson, what is wrong with that boy? Bella, get down.
Elijah.
I'm sorry.
Please, can you get Jackson to be quiet?
Bro, I am trying. I'm sorry. That my son is
Hey, hey. Listen, everybody, just chill, right? Okay. Listen. Okay, back to the all-seeing eye. Those initiated in the occult understand the secret interpretation of the pyramid and eye point back to Nimrod of Babylon. The glowing eye is indeed the glowing eye is indeed a symbol of deity, but a gross pagan one. The all-seeing eye is the same as the Egyptian symbol of Horus, which was called the eye in the sky, referring to the sun. Nimrod again. Nimrod again. You know what? Ooh, I just remember something. This is crazy. I heard somebody telling about, look, they call it the eye in the sky, right? Which is the sun. Not too long ago, I was on this call, and they were talking about Black Root Science, right? They were reading through the book Black Root Science. We talked about this a little while ago, but there was a woman up there, and she was talking about how she had messed around and did a ritual, right? Not knowing what she was doing, and messed around and opened her third eye. By listening to her, I can tell that she illegally did what she did, right? Proper way of opening up the spiritual realm so you can like see into the spirit, what church people call it, is by doing it the proper way, right? You gotta walk through the door. You gotta walk up the steps. You can't just go into the room and climb. You can't jump from the bottom step to the 14th step. There is a proper way to ascend the steps, right? Step by step, right? And if you're good enough and you understand, you can kind of skip some steps, right? Depending on how long your stride is, right? Listen, she said, and I don't know what she didn't say. She smoked anything. I tell you, stay away from drugs. Let you who will open that eye, and when you do it, anybody can do it. It's there for everybody. It's the pineal gland. They call it the seat of the soul. But right there, they realize, like, if you remove that from people's bodies, they are spiritually dumb, dense, whatever. They cannot perceive anything spiritual. So they realize that all spiritual happenings, not all spiritual happenings, but the main activity of spiritual activity, it seemed to have something to do with this gland, the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. I'm so sorry. They doing it. Yes, they're doing the most. I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, but she said that, I forget what it was she did, but she didn't go through the proper channels of like fasting and cleaning up her life and dealing with personal issues and traumas and stuff like that, right? So as you begin to heal, you literally heal from the inside out. And as you begin to take on a life of fasting, you will realize, like we said before, anybody that begins to fast cannot deny that you become more spiritually aware and alert. But that's the proper way to do it, right? You're doing it the proper way so your growth doesn't get ahead of you and drag you into a place where you're not able to navigate the waters, right? But by fasting, what happens is things in your life that you've been dealing with, traumas that you may need to deal with, they will begin to come up during your fast. And the longer you fast, the more you will see this begins to happen. And they kind of come like slow rolling waters, right? And they won't progress until you've taken care of like that first bit of garbage that comes up, right? Whether you need to make peace with somebody, you need to restore something, you need to apologize, or you just need to forgive yourself or something, you won't be able to move further on until you handle that. And you fast a little bit longer, and something else will happen, and you'll begin to notice that even the world around you begins to be at peace, so to speak. Everything can be hectic around you, but as you begin to fast and do it appropriately, you become at peace, and the waters around you, the world around you becomes peaceful, and you can walk through it, and you can kind of like ascend the steps, so to speak, right? And your spiritual out, you become more spiritual, and you can actually, and those, I don't know, some people just kind of like able to see right from the womb. You know, even with dreams and stuff, you will be able to decipher dreams that are good and dreams that are not good. Your dreams will begin to speak to you. Y'all will speak to you through your dreams and to help you accelerate and grow and mature, right? Until now you become, it seemed like you're like the spiritual giant, like, who are you? Where did you come from? But that's the proper way of doing it, right? I said all that, and I'm gonna get back to what this girl said. She said, whatever it was she was doing, it was some type of meditation. Not that meditation is wrong, but she was looking up different stuff and she was meditating. There's different things you can do. Just like I said, if you want to do it the proper way, learn how to fast and meditate and just be quiet. But she was doing some other stuff, which tapped into the spiritual realm and she was able to see. But what happened is she turned it on and wasn't able to turn it off. And what she began to see, she wasn't ready for, right? And so when she looked, she said, when she looked in the sky, the sun was like no longer the sun. It was freaking her out. Like people running around here, some people that's in like mental institutions and stuff, sometimes they've tapped into this and they don't know what to do because they've entered into it with psychedelics, mushrooms, marijuana and stuff, and they get it turned on and they don't know how to turn it off. And if you haven't been prepared for that, like your physical body hasn't been prepared for that, it will throw you into a constant state of hallucinations, and people go crazy and lose their mind. People talking about they seeing stuff and people chasing all this. Like, I don't doubt that one bit. And I'm like, you didn't access that illegally, haven't you? Okay, so she said when she went outside and she saw the sun, it was no longer the sun. It was literally an eye. And it was following her around everywhere. I was like, I said, what you say now, girl? I'm listening to her. She's telling this story. And this happened real life. This was about maybe 3 months ago. So I'm listening to her. She said she had to get rid of, she didn't get rid of, but she kind of like turned them around. Even her television, her cell phone. She said every time she looked at it, she said it was looking at her. It was a single eye that was looking at her. And I'm like, what? And she was explaining, she said she got so scared. She said she was blinking and it wouldn't go away. She couldn't, whatever she had done, she couldn't turn it off. But that makes things worse. Imagine looking at the television and seeing the eye. She thought her television was on. Right. And so she went and she went to go turn it off, but realized her television was off. And she said she was looking at it and moving around. Like, what is going on here? You know, she was like touching it and she finally turned it around. Same thing was happening with her cell phone. She said she had to use her house phone to call her brother to let him know what was going on.
She was looking at the screen.
Yeah, no, but she was really seeing like what our eyes are normally closed to. And thank y'all, a lot of times our eyes are closed to the spiritual realm because you're not, while you still locked in this flesh, especially if you haven't prepared your flesh, you're not prepared to see in that realm 24/7. She couldn't undo what she did, and she was seeing all this stuff around her. She was seeing, she said looked like auras around everything. She said she saw the energy around everything, even in items. You know, she said it was freaking her out. She called her brother. Her brother couldn't help. Then she called her mama. She said imagine she's somebody that that was really steeped in church doctrine and went to church a lot. And her mom is still kind of stuck in the church. You know, she's trying to find her way, just like all of us. Okay, what is the truth? But she got hold of something that she should have not held on to, right? And she found herself in this place. And so she finally called her mama. She said she didn't want to call her mom, but she didn't know what to do at this point. She wasn't able to sleep. She was scared out of her wits. She called her mama. Her mama called the pastor.
You might not let me get some.
Her mama called the pastor.
Mom.
The pastor came over to the house, and the pastor said he bringing anointing oil because she need to be delivered. He about to cast the devil out of her, right? So they came. It was funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. Right? She said the pastor then came over and did all of this with anointing oil and casting the devil out of her, and none of this stuff was going away. She was still able to see it. And finally the pastor left. Was like, sister, we're gonna keep praying for you because you might need a few levels of deliverance and stuff. I was hollering, laughing while I was listening to this. It wasn't funny, but it was funny. You know, so that's why I tell people, I say, y'all really have to be careful because like this spiritual realm, I heard it a lot, but now I realize that the spiritual realm is more real than this physical realm that we are currently living in now. Guys, we know how to end this. And my background is extremely too loud. Baby girl getting worked up. But let me just make a mark right here, y'all. And we have 49 minutes. They just gonna get louder. So we're gonna put this right here. We're gonna come back and read this tomorrow. The all-seeing eye. It's too much. It's too much for me today. And my older sons, they sound like they're about to start arguing. So we ain't gonna do this today. Because everybody seem like they losing it this morning in the house. Okay. So, but anyway, yeah. So if you want to do that, you're gonna see into the spirit. Do it appropriately, y'all. Cleanse your body. You'll realize that as you begin to cleanse your body and feed it the foods it was designed to have, something will shift in you naturally, and you will literally begin to, I don't know, literally, if I can say this, become one with nature and everything around you, and you really will. What word can I say? You will. I don't want to use too churchy of a word. You will. It's almost like you will feel what's going on around you, and you will be able to kind of navigate it, and you will just kind of know to do certain things ahead of time to smooth things out as they come. It's weird how it happens. It's like you can kind of foresee things a little bit better, and you can prevent some things from happening, right? So you that's the word. You become in tune with a lot that's going on around you, especially in your own household. But apparently this morning, I don't know what's going on with them. Everybody is wired. So with that being said, we're gonna pause right here. We'll start back reading this tomorrow with the all-seeing eye in the sky. I think that was everything. But I know what it was. I didn't tell you the end of it. She did eventually. She was able to cut that off. And she said it took her, she said the pastor, they literally spent a whole day, I'm going to finish this up. They literally spent a whole day trying to cast the devil out of her, and none of that worked. You know, she said she was trying to explain to them, she didn't get into any of that. And what it was, she probably, if I remember correctly, because if you go looking up meditation and stuff on YouTube and different things, there are a lot of different people that give you different theories and things that work for them. And it sounded like she did a compilation, a mashup of different stuff that people had done, right? And she found herself in a place where she was not ready for it. So don't do that, people. The proper way to do it is just, like I said, fast, take the time, go through your own life, deal with your own personal issues, and things will become clearer for you as you begin to meditate on the words of Yahuwah and what he said and everything, right? Okay, but what happened was she finally, it wasn't until the next day though, she said she didn't get any sleep all that night, but finally that next day she said she just dropped to her knees, and she said she repented. She said, Father, she said, I don't know what I did, she said, but you have to stop this. Turn this completely off. Whatever I did, turn it off. I must have did it the wrong way or something. She said after she did her little prayer, she just kind of gave a little some summation of her prayer, and it worked. Even after she called the pastor wasn't able to cast out the devil that had gotten into her and all that stuff, because it's your own personal journey as you grow. These things you have to learn yourself, right? Because if you get stuck in a place, you have to be able to know how to backtrack, how to when to go forward, when not to go forward, when your course has been turned off the right path. You have to personally understand and know those things. People can kind of help you along the way, but until you learn how to do those things yourself, you just kind of left in limbo a lot of times. All right, guys, and that's it. All right, y'all, we read page 195 up into page 196. We read Isaiah 25, 26, and 27. It is Tuesday, y'all, June the 29th, 2021, day 193 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 862. Let's go ahead and do this lesson, y'all. Sorry for the noise in the background. All right, y'all. The blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember, the first 21 verses is the Nazirite vow. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Okay, beautiful people. That's it. We got to go. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bruce.
Oh.